Okay, there was a mild delay, but now there's not. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Shiflett.
How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm a little frazzled, but I'm here.
How was Nashville? There's some great pictures. I have family and friends there.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
She's going to do the interview. No, it's
We can just do this.
It's totally cool. I think you're good. I think you're all good. Well, look, man, I'm going to let you play, and then we'll talk about the album and everything coming up. Cool? All right. Chris Shiflett on Radio 105.7.
So I don't know how much you guys know. I've been on tour the last few weeks. I got a new album coming out next Friday. So I'm going to play some songs off that. This one's called Goodnight, Little Rock. Good night, Little Rock. See you when we see you again. Tonight we turned 100 strangers into our best friends. Come on, boys, pack up the van real tight. Yeah, 'cause we gotta get lost in Texas by tomorrow night. No time to call, baby, we gotta go. I'm dodging semi-trucks, getting blown off the road. Sleeping through a bed and this motel's cold, oh yeah. And I don't know when I'm coming home. Another half-empty VFW haul. Another shitty PA, another night of no one at all. I'm leaving messages, girl, I've been trying to call. Yeah, and I don't know where you are tonight, baby, I'm all gone. Turn up the music while I sweat in my clothes. I'm washing down many thins with coke, sleeping 3 to a bed in this motel's cold, oh yeah. And I'm never ever coming home. Neon flying J's light the whole way there. Tonight I'm gonna find someone to fill my empty stare. Headlights in my rearview mirror glare. Yeah, as I close my eyes, the speed bumps whisper beware. No time to call, baby, we gotta go. Tonight I fell in love at the punk rock show. Sleeping 3 to a bed and this motel's cold, oh yeah. And I'm never ever coming home. Yeah, I'm never ever coming home. Yeah, I'm never ever coming home. Yeah. Oh, you can clap in the middle. That's fine. Through me.
She's feeling it. She's feeling it.
Hey,
So-
if you want to blurt anything out, you go right ahead.
There you go. You got carte blanche. There you go. There you go. So we've got Chris Shiflett here on Radio 105.7. Yeah! It's a lot of love in the room today. So I wanted to talk about this upcoming album, West Coast Town. which is about, coming up in California. But it's like, obviously, it's got this very honky-tonk vibe.
Sure.
Now, I didn't come up in California, but when I think California, I think like Beach Boys, like West Coast punk and stuff like that. So tell me, according to you, how like honky-tonk kind of works into what you came up on and your experience.
Well, we do have the Beach Boys, and we got, punk rock, and we got all that kind of stuff. But now the West Coast, the West Coast has a really, really strong country music tradition.
Yeah?
And we got the Buck Owens, we got the Bakersfield Sound, Merle Haggard, Win Stewart, like all that stuff. At one time, like you could argue that there was a point when, like, the West Coast was like the country music capital of America. I would say that's like, people don't remember that now, and that was a long time ago. But those roots are there, and it wasn't like something that I was into growing up when I was a kid. I was listening to Kiss and the Stones and stuff like that.
Right, and see, that's what I've read about, and then I hear the album, and I'm like, wait a minute.
It's interesting because like a lot of those honky tonks were actually still around. And like I went to shows at a lot of the Foothill and the Palomino and stuff like that, but I was seeing like heavy metal bands and punk rock bands.
Sure.
I remember like looking at the pictures on the walls of like Buck Owens and people like that, and just thinking like, who are those old guys?
Why the cowboy hat?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's there. We talk about the Bakersfield Sound a lot, but really like all over the West Coast, like it could have been anywhere. Just for some reason, that was the spot that was like the epicenter. But like most of those records got made in Hollywood, man. Hollywood is like country music USA. It came out of the movies, man. It was like,
see,
you know what I mean? It's cowboy shoot 'em ups. That's what it came
this is the education that I was looking for, because like I said, I consider myself somebody that's really interested in all kinds of music, but like that whole, like I said, honky-tonk sort of West Coast thing, I didn't know about. So I'm really glad you're doing this.
Well, it's funny because people, I've had people in California when we're playing gigs come up and say things like, wow, are you from the South? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm from Santa Barbara. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
From the South, Southern California, that South. But,
that South.
But you know what I mean? There's like a I don't know, country music's everywhere. And like, I'm not playing straight country music. I'm playing like, my sort of rock and roll version of that influence. So, but yeah, it's funny. People think of country as being some kind of regional thing, and it isn't now, and I don't think it ever really has been.
I think it's cool that you're branching out into that. Now, one of the things we talked about before we got started up here is that the album West Coast Town technically comes out, it's the 14th?
14th on Friday.
Right. So,
and if everybody in this room buys one, in today's record industry, that'll be like a #1 record, baby. Come on.
It's gold. It's gold.
It's going lead. It's going right in at #1.
So, but you're finishing up the tour now after the album comes out. Will you go back out on this album, or are you wrapped into Foo Fighters territory after
we'll
that?
See.
What happens?
We got Foo Fighters shows coming up, and I know we're going to be doing some rehearsals and stuff coming up. So I'm not going to jump right back into doing this, but hopefully after doing this run of shows, we'll get some opportunities. I'd love to go out and, support somebody else. And it's fun to go do these van tours, but it would be fun to go, support some other artists and stuff too. That'd be great. I'm just gonna see what kind of comes down the pike and
just kind of roll with it.
Yeah, I am doing a couple like in stores and some stuff like that when I get back home, and then I'm gonna play up at that Bottle Rock Festival in Napa. So there's a couple things here and there. You guys are big Napa Valley fans? Is that it? Whoa, Napa! Yeah, woo!
Napa, only the best.
Yeah, so we'll see. It'd be fun to do some more of it. It's been the last few weeks have been really fun. And I feel like we just now, right now, we sound like a band. And tonight's the last show.
Into it. Yeah, it's always the way.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll find the time to extend that. We'll talk a little bit more about the album and everything. But playing Eddie's Attic tonight.
Yeah.
I want to let you play again a little bit more now.
Okay, sure, you got it.
Chris Shiflett on Radio 105.7.
I'm gonna play the first song on my record. It's called Sticks and Stones. Throw your bottles, sticks and stones. You made it clear where I can go. And the hallway all alone. I always wind up on my own. Sat outside our bedroom door, picking glass off the floor. take all you want, then take some more. I give up on keeping score. Well, you know what we've become, and there's blank enough for everyone. So if you're thinking about moving on, then your heart's already gone. Well, you said my temper's cruel. So baby, where does that leave you? Hanging on you like a noose. I keep my fingers on the truth. So make any threat you want. What can you take that you ain't got? Call your lawyer, call the cops. All you want is what you're not. Well, you know what we've become, and it's blame enough for everyone. So if you're thinking about moving on, then your heart's already gone. There's no apologies left to give. There's no more sorrows on these lips. Didn't mean to hurt you, but I did. Lying's easy when truth quits. So push this old heart off a cliff and watch the world crash into it. Reach for your hammer, found a fist. We can't take much more of this. Well, you know what we've become, and it's black enough for everyone. So if you're thinking about moving on, then your heart's already gone. Then your heart's already gone. Then your heart's already gone. Thank you.
Chris Shiflett on Radio 105.7 Southwest Soundstage. It is a 404 session. So the album is coming out on Friday, which is West Coast Town.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you've got Foo Fighters, you've got your podcast.
Yep.
But you continue to do these kind of tours. I saw you. I think the last time I saw you doing something like this was it was Chris Shiflett and the Dead Peasants.
Right.
So this time around, just Chris Shiflett, because the Dead were already dead. But in all honesty, I'm curious. So why is this one just Chris Shiflett?
Well, okay, so when I did that first Dead Peasants record, I didn't have a band. It was just me and my friend Lou recording songs. He played drums, and then we just brought in a bunch of different people. But when I put that record out, I wanted to go
Hey.
I wanted to go do some shows, and so I put together some guys to go do that with, and that sort of evolved, and then the Dead Peasants kind of became a band, and then that core group of guys more or less stayed the same for a little while, and we did another record that was like covers, and did that for a while, and then I got busy again with Foo Fighters, and when it came time to do this one, I knew I wanted to go out to Nashville and make it with Dave Cobb, and he had agreed to do that. So, and he's got like all these incredible musicians that
Yeah.
he sort of draws from that are like his own little wrecking crew. And I talked to him about it, and I said, I don't really have like a band together, but I got all these songs. He's like, don't worry about it. I got it. I got the guys. guys.
So he just
Yeah.
hit up some folks.
He had the guys, and they were amazing.
And that's who you're on the road with now?
No, those guys are really expensive.
Oh, okay.
We'd have to be playing in much bigger venues to afford those guys.
Okay, well.
So I went back to LA and corralled some friends to come out and do these shows with me. So I got a different set of guys. But so it just whatever. It just felt like a solo record this time around.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and hearing that explanation, that makes sense. Now, I wanted to talk about, like I said earlier, you've got the podcast, you've got Foo Fighters, you've got this album, and in all honesty, you could probably just release this album and do like 2 shows and be like, all right, thanks a lot, and be done with it. But you're like out in the van, which I saw broke down,
Yeah.
and you're, as the kids say, keeping it real out there. So when you play these smaller shows, is this kind of what keeps you grounded? Is this the music that's closer to your heart?
I mean, I wouldn't say that exactly. It's different, the sort of the relationship you have like with songs that you write than songs that somebody else is writing and you're sort of in a support role.
Sure.
It's different, And for me, like, I like to go do this and sing and play my songs. It's just nice to have a little forum to do that. And so it's, it would be I don't like my schedule, like you said, is totally insane, which is why I'm touring my record before it came
comes out.
because I knew that like this was like a little block that I had. So I don't know, I never even really thought about why. I just figured I'm making an album. I want to go play some shows. I want to go see what it feels like to play the songs in a room full of people, and it's been a trip because most of these songs nobody's ever heard because the album doesn't come out till Friday, so you're really like it's different. It's not like a room full of people that are like singing along to every word, like woo, Monkey Wrench, that's like a different energy.
Right.
Some of these are like kind of slow and mopey.
Yeah.
So you're working, or I'm working in a different way.
Which is why people applaud before you even finish the song, because
Hey,
they're
it's
pumped
great,
on
man.
it.
It's
They're
great.
stoked.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
Yeah. Hey,
no, but I
know.
think
I'll take it.
that's what's happening. You're playing shows and people, they can't sing along because they don't know it yet. But it says something that they're just going to come to the show and be like, hey, I don't know what the album sounds like, but I'm interested.
As long as they're coming, I'm cool either way.
Yeah, that's a music fan. Well, again, tonight at Eddie's Attic, I'm going to let you play a little bit more.
All
Cool?
right.
Chris Shiflett on Radio 105.7.
This song's called Room 102. I'll take a shot and a beer back, please. Last night brought me to my knees. I need your love and sympathy, but all I got is this empty stool and me. Guess you left around 2 a.m. Said you were leaving with your girlfriends, but you went straight home to him. Bartender, please set 'em up again. You wouldn't come back to my hotel room, so I walked all alone back to 102, staring at your picture, faded blue. Tonight I'm drinking about me and you. I don't know when I'll be back again. It's not so easy being just your friend, but if you want me to, I'll pretend. I'll be here waiting for that one last slow dance. Same old story since we first met. We'll break our hearts every chance we get. Neon lights turn to regret. Hey baby, if it ain't just too late yet, I'm all alone in my hotel room, broken hungover right here in a 102, texting you desperate like a lovesick fool. Tonight I'm drinking about me and you. Light a smoke and stare at the wall. Wait until all my inhibitions fall like a hand grenade in my palm. I pull the pin and I make the call. I'm all alone in my hotel room, broken hungover right here in a 102, texting you desperate like a lovesick fool. Tonight I'm drinking about me and you. Tonight I'm drinking about me and you. Tonight I'm drinking. Thank you.
Chris Shiflett on Radio 105.7, 404 session, Southwest Soundstage. So I had two questions that, frankly, just I want to know. So in listening to your podcast, you got a ton of different guests in there. Is there somebody that you've hosted on, do you call that a show? I don't even know.
Yeah,
An
I don't know what you call
episode? An episode? Yeah? Okay,
Episode,
thanks.
episode.
Okay, thank you.
Ask the youngest person in the room. What do you young people with your
Correct
technology
answer.
instruments refer to the podcast?
You kids call that thing. Was there anybody in particular that you were like super anxious to talk to?
So many of them. I mean, like, probably the one that I was the most nervous for would be the Merle Haggard
That's what I
interview.
thought. That's what I
mean,
thought. That's
Because,
heavy.
you know, like, it's Merle Haggard. On one hand, I'm like a huge fan. I don't want to ask him the wrong stuff. I didn't know, I never met the guy before. I didn't know if he'd be open to talking about things that he did in 1965 or whatever, because sometimes people aren't. Sometimes people don't want to talk about the past. You never know until you sort of get in a room with them. And plus, Merle had a reputation as being a little bit ornery, we'll say. And he was anything but with me. That was an amazing day. Like
Really?
There was something wrong. I was on his tour bus. That's where we did the interview, and we were up in Bakersfield, and it was the day that his childhood home, which was a fucking boxcar. I mean, you can't make this shit up. He grew up in a boxcar, and his childhood home was being moved into the Kern County Museum. So they were like having a party for him. And we did the interview on his bus, but there was something wrong with like the AV system on the bus, and so there were some guys fixing it, we were sitting there in the front lounge of his bus for like 2 hours, and his publicist kept going like, "It'll be like 15 minutes. We'll just."
And you're like,
And so I didn't have any of my stuff set up, and we just sat there shooting the shit, and it was Merle Haggard. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like I wish I had that stuff that we talked about.
I know what you're talking about.
Recorded, because he was just sitting there holding court, and he was so nice, and he was just really like. Hospitable. And he didn't need to be, He didn't know who the hell I was, and he was just like, "So your band's doing well, huh, son? Good for you.
Good
for
on you. All right, then.
Yeah.
You play the guitar. That's cool.
It was cool.
And that is awesome. Like sometimes when you get the opportunity to meet a hero and you kind of hold your breath, you're like, please don't be a jerk. Please don't let me down because I've got you up here. And then when they are cool, you're like, wow. It's like seeing a unicorn,
Most of the time they're cool. I mean, I can't even think offhand of, a legendary person I've ever met that was not friendly.
Well, you
the
might
legends are usually pretty darn cool.
You might be treated a little bit different because of who you are. So maybe you want folks
I'm just walking in on Foo Fighter coattails. Be nice to me, Mr. Haggard, please.
My last name is Foo Fighter.
There's some people, like I interviewed Red Simpson. I don't know if you all know who Red Simpson is. He's a Bakersfield legend, songwriter, artist, whatnot. I walked in, he didn't know. He didn't know who I was. He didn't know what a podcast was. He was like, "So what radio station are you with?" I'm like, uh-oh.
You're like, it's an episode, sir.
It exists on this thing called the internet.
Yeah. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you about was if you remember, so like when you first started playing guitar, from what I understand, most people pick out a song that they've heard, and that's that first song they learn how to play. Do you remember what that song was?
Oh, I remember, absolutely. My first guitar teacher did the best thing ever. I didn't realize at the time because I was a little kid and I wanted to learn Ozzy and stuff like that. But he made me learn, he got me a Beatles for beginner songbook. And I learned Hey Jude, And so I learned all those chords. It was great. I lean on that stuff more than anything. You learn Beatles songs, and you just sort of accidentally learn like music theory and stuff that you don't realize you're kind of processing.
And the same still holds true because I know some music teachers and they still go back to, okay, we're going to start with the Beatles.
Yeah.
That's still what they go with. Okay, well, can we get one more song out of you?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Chris Shiflett, one more song on Radio 105.7.
So now all you people are coming to Eddie's Attic tonight, right? That's the deal? Okay. All right. Because I did an in-store in Nashville. I was like, you guys are coming to the show. And it was like 3 people were like, you guys are so much better than those people. All right, I'm gonna play the, and luckily this is gonna live on the internet, so that everyone that was there will see that and feel bad. I'm gonna play you the title track from my record. It's called West Coast Town. I walked home all the way from East Beach with an oil spill sticking to my feet, to that little house on Salinas Street, throwing rocks in the creek, my brothers and me. And Mom headed down on a county wage, kept clothes on our backs, food on our plates, and every Saturday night mariachis played. I listened through the window to the lowrider sway. I grew up in a West Coast town back before they chased the working class out. You know we don't fuck around where I grew up in a West Coast town. July, Ledbetter Beach, salted digging in my lungs so deep. I chased her all night, but she couldn't see. It was paradise, but I had to leave. I grew up in a West Coast town back before they chased the working class out. You know we don't fuck around where I grew up in a West Coast town. Like stoplights on the freeway, tear me down, but I never change. Yeah, I grew up in a West Coast town back before they chased the working class out. You know we don't fuck around where I grew up. Yeah, I grew up in a West Coast town back before they chased the working class out. You know we don't fuck around where I grew up in a West Coast town. In a West Coast town.
Thank you.
Chris Shiflett, Radio 105.7, 404 session at the Southwest Soundstage. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. That was fun.
Absolutely. And we'll see you all at Eddie's Attic, right? Cool. All right. So we'll meet up outside, and let's hear it again for Chris Shiflett. And thanks for watching on Radio 105.7.